I tell you, you know what? I should have changed this camera before I even started. I just don't like that angle. I don't know why. I want to be able to see my, the president's sign. That's the president of my bike club there. It's Kurt. And, man, he's the prez. I don't want to get on his bad side. So I imagine if he sees that his sign is like was there, now it's covered up, he probably want to know why. And I don't have a reason why I really like Kurt. So I think if I set like this, I can actually, you'll sometimes see both. You'll see his business, his banner, his sign there. And you'll see this sign here, it's a poster of all the torque specs on a K1200 LT BMW, of which I am the very proud owner of a 2000 model. Beautiful machine. And if it wasn't for Kirk, I honestly wouldn't be able to afford to own it, because if I can't fix it from watching him do it, I take it to him, and he does the best work on earth for, I don't know, a quarter. I'd say a quarter of the price. In other words, if you spend $1,000 at his shop, it costs you $4,000 at the BMW shop, which President Kirk calls "bring more wallet." He said that's what BMW stands for. Bring more wallet. And I'm not going to disagree with him. So I want to get into the sermon. Memes of Destruction. So good to see you here. Please check your Twitter, if you will, my kind friend. I really hope that what I did today was tasteful. I did not mean any disrespect to Lapis. The simple fact of the matter is, I wasn't trolling her last night, memes, but the simple fact of the matter is I have to remember one thing when I'm engaging with folks. I have to remember, and I mean this, I'm trying to say this very diplomatically. I have to remember who they are, where they're from, their experiences, and take all that into account and not go guns a-blazing as if I'm talking to a 60-year-old curmudgeon that has had their entire life to know that what they're saying may or may not be horribly offensive to some people, at the very least, and at the most, be the reason that every Palestinian in Palestine says that they need to kill every last breathing Jew, run them into the ocean. A thing that they've been saying long before Jews moved in to the promised land. So look, I don't want to dwell on that because I want to become friends with Lapis. I don't know if maybe the way that we've met was, well, that will be impossible. And that's okay. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. First impressions are very powerful, and there's nothing I can do about it. But if it's possible, I would like to be able to be an influence in this beautiful young lady's life. And I would like to maybe hear from her some of the sources that, put these ideas in her head that Jews are racist. Jews are every color of the rainbow. She even mentioned that night that there's Ethiopian Jews. There's a story in the New Testament of an Ethiopian being baptized. And James said, "Lo, here's some water. What stops us from baptizing you right now?" But again, these things may be too, the religiosity inculcated in this conversation may be too much for this young lady or for the people that are here today. But fair warning, today there will be religion mixed in this stream. And by religion, I mean a show of my own faith, because in retrospect, I've looked at my videos, I've looked at the things I've done over the last 3 years, and I'm not ashamed of anything I've done, but I feel that I have let down my Savior. And what I mean by that is there's been many times where I'm not going to say what I believe in, this and that. Well, look, I'm not going to try to convince you that what I believe is correct. I'm not going to have an appeal every day as I did just a couple days ago. It's not going to happen. I don't want to go altar calls. I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. I just want them to realize that if I, a flawed, bogus old ogre that exploited youth and inexperience last night in a way that really was unbecoming a gentleman, And I'll say no more about that. I will not self-deprecate any further than that. But I will say that I was watching that young lady's face, and I was. And Memes, I'm sure you're such a kind soul, my friend. In the hallowed halls of Valhalla, there's a seat right now, that says the Memes of Destruction. And it is anxiously awaiting your presence, even though you may not be so anxious to get that pass to the hallowed halls. That said, listen, I'm going to get right in now to the regular sermon. I feel, and all of this, because I did that video today because I had a whole nother video. And man, I showed the stream last night. And come on, what do I want to do? Am I the kind of guy that is going to take it a step beyond now and is going to do more than play a song for this beautiful young lady? No, man, come on. My soul is pure, my heart is clean, and there's nothing inside of me that makes me want to, make someone feel bad or try to make someone feel bad. And I realized when I did the first video, that's what I was doing. I was honestly focusing all my energy into belittling someone. You know what? That is not a true troll. I am a troll god. In being such, I have to set an example. Memes, people warned her last night not to feed the troll. And no matter what I would want to say right now, hey, the situation I was in, and even after the kind guidance of, hey, is that, oh man, good to see you, Somatic. Good to see you, brother. Been a while. But let me stay on track here. In fact, I'm going to dedicate the first song to you, my friend. This first song is to you. I'm so glad you showed up today. But I realized when I looked at the video that I'd put together that, there's a fine line when you're a troll. If you're a real troll, I mean, a Memes level, a God rest his soul, a Cabbage Patch Bastard level of troll. This is a troll that maybe morals elude us. Maybe Memes reaches for the morality ring and misses that ring from time to time. Maybe Cabbage Patch stretched as far as he could and just nicked that ring with his finger. But we have something else. We have virtue. And we can be virtuous trolls. We can troll. We can have fun exposing weakness in folks, exposing lies, falsehoods. But we don't have to be dicks about it. We don't have to take advantage of a 19-year-old beautiful young Jewess, beautiful young lady. I watched every one of her videos today, not the entirety of every one, but I watched portions of every one. And her very first video was with Memes of Destruction on conversation, the art of conversation, I believe, if my memory doesn't elude me. And I tell you what, it meant so much to me. And also, hopefully I will be humanized in this situation. But if not, hey, man, it's okay. But it humanized this beautiful young lady in a way that now, I mean, oh my goodness, even if I was to speak to her now, what would I do? Now I kind of know this person. And if I'm to be a virtuous troll, I wouldn't try to make her feel bad. I watched her entire video on her cover page. I'm not even going to go into that video now because it was very personal. It said right on, it's very personal. And she was brave to put that video up where ignorant, loudmouth trolls like me could find it and exploit it if they wanted to. That's why I'm calling it brave. And I watched that, and my goodness, could I belittle this person now, knowing what I know? No, my God, no. Have mercy on me. Let me tell you a quick story before I get into the first. No, I'm going to sing the first song. I'm going to dedicate this to Somatic. Good to see you here, my brother. And after I sing this, remind me to tell the parable of the man that owed $100. And I will do that. So, as said before, this is for Somatic. Sorry about that. I got clear no vocals. yeah, found a 6-shooter gun in his dad's closet with a box of fun things I don't even know what. But he's coming for you, yeah, he's coming for you. And all the little kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, I'll run my gun. All the little kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, faster than my bullet. Daddy works a long day. He'll be coming home late. Yeah, he's coming home late, and he's bringing me a surprise. 'Cause dinner's in the kitchen and it's packed in ice. I've waited for a long time. Yeah, the sledge in my hand is now a quick pull trigger. Reason with my cigarette. You say your head's on fire, you must lost your wits. Well, all the little kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, I'll run my gun. All the little kids with the pumped up kicks, run, I'll run my bullets. Kicks, you better run, I'll run my gun. All the other kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, get faster than my bullet. And you know, I love that tune when it first came out. I love it now. What a great songwriter. I mean, it was just, that person wrote jingles. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. So, if I may, there once was a man that owed a great king $100,000. And he was back. He was behind a year. He was supposed to have paid him off under pain of death if the bill was not met. And he avoided and tried everything. He could not raise the money. And eventually the king had his guards lay hands on this man and drag him before this great leader. And this great leader of men said, "What have you done? Have you put yourself in the position to owe me your life for this $100,000? He said, "Oh, yes, king. Oh, king, live forever. God grants you long life and wisdom, king of the people. Please forgive me, king. If you would give me but another month, I'll sell all I have and give you everything. And it should be very close, if not the price that I owe you." The king considered this, but he was a great and benevolent leader. His thoughts were so much higher than the thoughts of man that we can't fathom it. And this king looked at his servant. He said, No, listen. Now that I consider it, my servant, I realize that I own everything I see, and that your 100,000 to me is really nothing. I forgive you your debt. Go, make money, be prosperous, provide for your family, be an upright, studious man. Do for your community what you would have them do for you. And this sneaking little cockroach took the grace and benevolence of his king, smiled, said thank you, and left. But while he was in the marketplace that day, he spied a man that owed him $50. He said, you stop you, and called the guard. Get him, grab him. They got him, and they drug him before the magistrate. Little did this man know that the magistrate was a very loyal servant of the king. And he knew what happened earlier that day. He was going to have this man that owed him $50 thrown into prison and all of his belongings sold so that he could be paid this paltry sum. The king heard of it. And I'm going to tell you this way. He was not best pleased with the information. And the end result was this wicked and horrible man that would be forgiven a great debt. Forgiven a great debt. Not say, pay me when you can. Forgiven it in total. Went and laid hands on this poor servant of the king. The king had his head removed from his body and gave all that wicked servant possessed to this poor man that owed but $50. That being known, that thing known to me as a parable only, but known that is a parable showing the truth of life, the reality of karma, the reality of God's mighty hand. What could I do in this situation, people? What could I do? So now I must move on. But all of that was to say that, hey, there's no hard feelings. I don't harbor hard feelings. Hard feelings destroy the person that harbors them. I went out in the woods today with my dog and I cut a tree down. I started to cut down a great big tree that looked like it was deader than fried chicken. But while I started to, I began to make the wedge, my initial cut, you make what's called a kerf cut, a wedge. You take a piece of pie out of that tree in the direction you want it to fall. You're creating what they call a hinge or holding wood. Look it up. It's really what they call it, holding wood or a hinge. And when you make your back cut, you get close. You may have to drive a wedge in it, whatever. But as soon as you see that thing start to move, you get out of the way. But that tree, when I made my kerf cut, when I made my that beginning wedge cut, I realized the tree wasn't dead. It wasn't a sapling by any stretch of the imagination. The son of a bitch was 20 inches in diameter. And it had spots where the bark had been destroyed in some way. And I could see that the bark was gone and it was down to the wood, and the wood looked cracked and dead. But as I cut into the heartwood, I could see life. Oh, why are you telling us this, Ogre? You're crazy. Ogre, you're fucking, excuse my language, you're crazy. Crazy I may be. But be careful the tree you pick. All I would have had to do was knock around the bottom of it with my axe. I carry an axe to drive the wedges in. I carry tools. I don't just have a chainsaw. I could have tested the tree before I decided it was dead, before I decided there was no life or nothing that I could get from this tree besides to burn it in a conflagration to bring heat into my household. And I have a feeling that I did that last night. I do. Why am I saying this? Because after I went and watched this young lady's videos, I realized that there were things that are not important to me that are important to her. And I realized that I was being far too forceful. And whereas this young lady was maybe not as wily or as wise as I am, well, maybe I'm not as empathetic and as kind as she is. Maybe I mistook the comments that she made about my age, about my spelling. Maybe I mistook those for attacks when actually they were possibly more defensive moves. Maybe I didn't test that tree, folks. Maybe I tried to cut that tree down when it still had green sap running in its xylem and phloem, when there would be no reason for me to end this majestic life. If I can learn this lesson from a tree, we all need to learn this lesson. We all need to realize that before we put the axe to the root of some human being that we want to label as stupid or young or old or ignorant or foul, or I believe I did call her at one time a dangerous fool. Before we want to stick abrasive labels on people that we truly don't know, that we may be making a snap judgment based on something they said when they were hanging out with a friend, having fun, and encouraging other people to enjoy it, to join them in that activity. Maybe I should have swung my axe around a little bit more. Maybe that hollow sound I was looking for wouldn't be there. Maybe if I would have been a little wiser, I would have heard the reverberating thump of a live, living oak tree in Meme's words when he said, "Look, Ogre." I'm paraphrasing. When he said, "Look, Ogre, not right now." And, in my defense, no, I wasn't drunk. I wasn't angry. None of these things. What I was quick to render judgment. What I was insensitive in the way I judged this beautiful young lady's age, her intelligence, everything. In the end, I'm not sorry for what I did, but I will learn from it. In the end, as us humans traverse this strange and wonderful path from birth to the grave, we only have two options: learn from our mistakes or get the Darwin Award. And sometimes the Darwin Award comes in different ways. Now, those of you here gathered here, there's not many here right now, and not too many will watch this, but you're very important to me. I've actually called out the ones I don't like, the ones that would not be receptive to what I say. I did that before I started bringing you music that I love. I don't want to entertain people that hate me. And no, I was just, no, and I thought about it, and I don't. I want to entertain almost anyone, but I don't want to entertain people that hate me, because then you're more or less Sambo doing a soft shoe. I don't want to be Sambo. I want to be your equal. I would like to be your friend. In some cases, some of you out there that can hear my voice right now, I won't mention your names. I want to be your confidant. I want to be someone that you could trust. Now, through my 3 years on this platform, I've proven one thing, if nothing else. Well, it's twofold, but it's one thing: my trustworthiness and my loyalty. Now, if someone backstabs me, it would take an apology on their part and a turning from that very unvirtuous act of backstabbery. I hope you're following this. I hope you're tracking with this. Just right online. This is very important. But it would take that apology. I'm not, none of us, listen to me now out there. People, please. This may be happening to you right now. There may be someone in your life right now that says they love you, that says they care so much for you, but are actively trying to hurt you, are actively putting you down. And there may be something inside of you right now that says, well, I either A, deserve it, or B, I'm going to no. Big Red Clinton Cox. You are a human being. You deserve respect. No, Britisher, you're a human being, and you should be able to eat fish in front of people. I want to take a moment right now and say, hey, Britisher, I know you watch my stuff from time to time. I miss you, man. I miss you. I know I'm hard, but I'm fair. And it wouldn't have been fair if I wasn't hard with you at the time. And maybe it wouldn't be fair if you weren't hard with me for eternity. But I do miss you, brother. You were my only confidant. The reason I haven't said much about your life is because you know more about my life than I probably ever should have told anybody in this cyber realm. And where I have my own opinions about other things, I have to say this about you, my brother Britisher. You are loyal. Maybe not the kind of loyalty I understand, my friend, but you are loyal. You never once tried to tear me down, and you never told anybody anything about the stuff you know about me, and as I will never tell anybody anything about the stuff I know about you. Anyway, let me move on. I guess this is a nostalgic day. I don't do this very often, and people requested it, and they wanted me to do takedown videos. This is why I don't do takedown videos, because I did want to teach some young lady a lesson. But, as I was, in the process of doing said teaching, I realized, why? What am I doing this for? The moment's passed. There's no joy of trolling. There's no instant gratification of, made a funny joke or whatever. None of that happened. Hey, RPR, good to see you, my brother. You coming right at the end, but good to see you. So, to wrap it up, the golden rule stands true. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. But there's something else I'd like to attach to that. There's an addendum to that golden rule I'd like to add right now, if I may. And that is, as you're doing unto others as you would have them do unto you, if people are doing unto you as you would not have done, don't let it be forever. Don't be the woman in a battered relationship allowing some jerk off to beat you because you didn't cook the meatloaf the way his mama did, or whatever it may be. Don't allow the wife to henpick you and belittle you in front of your friends and run you down and emasculate you publicly. Don't do that. Find a way to mend those fences in your relationships, or sever the relationship. I said I would make an appeal, but I'm going to make one appeal. Lapis, my beautiful young new friend, if you ever do see this, maybe if Memes timestamps this and points you to this section. From the bottom of my heart, young lady, I apologize if you saw what happened last night as an attack on you. Being an old, grungy, grody old ogre, I've endured many, I'm not going to say anti-Semitic because it's a language, anti-Jewish taunts and jeers and mockings. And, I didn't test the tree, Lapis. I didn't put the axe to you and realize that you were greenly alive, and that I should be more careful with the words I chose to use when we were talking. Hey, that said, I got one more tune, and I might as well dedicate this one to RPR. He's a latecomer here. But what the hell? Hey, RPR, this one's for you, my friend. a land that is fairer than day. And by faith we shall see it afar. For the Father waits over the way to prepare us a dwelling place there, when the sweet by and by we shall meet on that beautiful shore. In the sweet by and by, oh Lord, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. To our wonderful Father above, we shall offer a tribute of praise for the glorious gift of His love and the blessings that hallow our days. In the sweet by and by, oh Lord, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. In the sweet, oh, by and by, oh Lord, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. We shall meet on that beautiful shore. Wow, I really blew the beginning of that, but I don't have headphones on. I won't lie. When I'm doing some of these tunes and I'm trying to harmonize and sing the harmonic parts of it, boy, you couldn't tell. You probably could tell. The beginning was way too low. Sorry, I fucked that up, RPR. Hopefully God forgives me. And remember, folks, be good to your friends, be good to your family members, be good to your loved ones. Be quick to say you're sorry. Be even quicker to accept an apology, especially when that thing your friend, family member, loved one has done seems to be so huge you'll never be able to forget about it. Because constant viewers, at a time you think not, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, your life, and everything you love will depart from you. In the sweet